Zeke the 5-foot freak and the legend that is Larry.
What's up?
What's up?
Man, it's good to be back for though it isn't not the second week in a row, but at least twice this month, right?
Yeah. Wait a minute, we're still in November, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
Still in November, so it's definitely good to be back. We got a great show lined up today. Blitz, red ass, what we got?
Without further ado, huh? Hey man, I got a lot to talk about, man. I really don't know where to begin. I'm everywhere from my Rockets with James Harden and Westbrook wanting to leave.
Oh, you sad?
I ain't sad, man. It just ain't been a good year for me, bro. But
can I speak on that? Well, you know, another coach is not going to let him come in and let him do that. So,
well, true. I know. I mean, if Harden leaves, we starting over. Nowhere around it.
Man, it's like y'all start over every year, man.
That we don't start over every year, Otis. We don't. We've been in the playoffs the last 6 years in a row, man. Made it to the second round. Went to the conference finals 3 times. And we was a few seconds away from being in the championship. But anyway, that's not when I say I got a lot to talk about, man, that's one of the things that's bothering me. I'm not gonna let you steal my joy today, OB and King. But
I ain't say anything.
Huh?
I ain't say anything.
But
I'm gonna move to 9-0 though, but go ahead.
True. Should we be excited, y'all, and happy or encouraged that 75 million people, the most, voted for Biden, and that's the most ever. You know, the black vote was the determining factor. I was wrong. We did show up and showed out. And, you know, especially in those key states where Democrats lost those states to Trump. So that's the good side. Here's the negative. 75 for Biden, but 70 mil voted for Trump, man.
But do you believe them numbers, or you think that's just propaganda?
And no, that's real. I believe there's no reason for me not to believe 70 mil. I mean, it's real. In fact, the election committee has already said that this is the most error-free election in American history.
70 million who? Just voters, period?
No, 70 million voted for Trump, bro.
Yeah, 70 million voters. Just that's black, white, Hispanic, everybody.
70 million people voted for Trump.
Well,
75 voted for Biden. That's a lot.
I can understand that. I mean, just so a lot of those people, in other words, and they can try to spin it how they want. They voted for hate. I mean, you had 4 years to see what this dude was about, what he supported. You know, so you can't sit and say that, oh no, he's not.
And that's my issue. And that's my issue, though, King, is that they watched him for 4 years. I didn't need 4 years. I didn't even need 1 day. But because I could judge a man's character quick. But you have 4 years of evidence. He blatantly, publicly, didn't hide his racism, man. And y'all voted for him, man. Y'all voted for him. That's very concerning to me because when I look at Biden and Harris, yeah, they got 75 mil, but they're going to have to put on their best performance, man. They're going to have to hurry up and get this pandemic under control. They got to get the economy on point. They got to almost be perfect in order to hold on to their 75. Trump obviously don't have to do nothing to keep his 70, and that's my issue because the Democratic voters, to me, they're a fickle type of voter, man. They a lot of them are independents, so and that's good because you got to earn a vote. They're not going to drink the Kool-Aid, but at the same time, it's putting pressure on Biden and Harris. You already know we're going to hold them accountable, but that's my thing. We can hold them accountable, y'all, but my God, man, I mean, Trump already talking about running in 2024. And so you know, there's movements called Stop the Steal. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of this movement. It's by Roger Stone. And Stop the Steal is basically, he's trying to get people pumped up, talking about the vote, you know, the election was fraud. And I mean, he has a real underground movement going on, man.
Well, my only issue with him saying that is, and the other Republicans supporting that is, just like what's your boy, the one who hated Obama,
Trump,
Mitch
McConnell.
You got reelected on the same ballot, so where's their tampering? You know what I'm saying?
It's all crap, though.
I know.
My question is, I don't know how the presidency goes, but after he ran for president, so he can rerun for president again?
Yeah.
He
didn't do it consecutively.
Yeah.
Oh, so Obama couldn't run again?
No.
Now, my questions, and I'm going to look this up unless one of you guys know this. Does Trump get a consecutive term if he wins in 2024? No. So he's only going to get a total of 8 years. Okay.
Yes.
Why would you want to run, man? It's just something going on behind the scenes.
Man, he gotta keep all this propaganda going, brother. He gotta keep everything astray. He want people like yourself and myself to get agitated and irritated and mad.
He's a billionaire, though, freak. Why? Why go through the stress?
Because he feel he can. But I hope he leave America, because he said if he would lose, he was going to leave. So I want to welcome him off.
He ain't going nowhere because the Southern District of New York going to be waiting on him with handcuffs as soon as January 20th comes. That's if they don't get paid off by the Trump people, though.
Now, but you know what he can do, though? While he's still in office, he can pardon himself.
I know.
Before he get arrested.
I think he's supposed to resign right before the 20th, and then Pence can pardon him. Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
so they got a game plan, man. You know them white coats know what they're doing, and I ain't talking about doctors.
I tell you what, though, man. Here's another factor, y'all, that we need to pay attention to. My brother went to a church this morning, and oh hell, I don't care, man. It was Abundant Life Christian Center in Lamarck, Texas, and and he went there, and again, he was going in good intentions, man. And then he called me like after 10 minutes, and he was just telling me what's being preached over the pulpit, man. And they are preaching division, bro. They feel like the Democrats are the devil. They feel like the election was stolen. This is coming across the pulpit, and this makes sense. It explains why these 70 million people are so fanatical about Trump, no matter what he does, because you got the preachers they coming across as if this is ordained by God.
Yeah.
And I mean, I knew about this.
Well, that's their song. They saying that he's doing God's work. And I never seen nowhere in the Bible where God spoke on hate. You know, killing. Last time I checked, you know, killing someone was a breaking of a commandment, was a sin. I mean, so nothing that this dude does or condones lines up with God's word, and it has to line up with his word in order to be his work, right? Am I right or wrong? So
right.
That's just
you're right.
Christianity, though, Wes. Why?
Right, man.
Why am I mean, why can't we see this? I'm not getting it. And I'm trying to give the evangelicals the benefit of the doubt because, you know, the Kool-Aid cannot taste that good, man. It's got to be some other factors. Not everybody's rich, so it can't be that.
Yeah. Well, you have people that is rich. And like I said before, Trump supporters only support him because he attacks the very thing that they hate. He's a hell of a con man.
He's one of the best.
Yeah, he's a hell of a con man. And he's calling these people, and that's all he does. And if you go back and you look, and what did he say? You know, so many years ago, if he ever ran for president, he'd run Republican. Republicans.
Some of the dumbest voters.
Yeah.
So King, you bring up Khan, which brings me to my last point. Freak, and I'm gonna let you have the flow, man. I just got to get this out. You're talking about Khan. How is he conning not our black leaders, but people that you would think would not be so easily fooled, like Ice Cube? I'm disappointed, man. I'm sorry. There's no excuse. You cannot give me no good reason on why you did that, Q. No good reason.
You're not gonna listen to his music anymore?
So let me ask you this: did he support him, or he just said he was willing to work with him?
Doesn't matter.
No, I think it does matter. And what he said, he didn't necessarily say he was willing to work with him. He said he was willing to sit down with anybody that was willing to listen to him.
Yeah,
and Trump was willing. But it wasn't even Trump that listened to him. It was one of his aides or secretary or somebody.
And they used that opportunity for a photo op, like that was the whole plan from the get-go. I mean,
don't let Weezy off the hook neither. Then
oh no, I mean, hell, you got who else is up there? P. Diddy. I mean, there's several of them, 50 back and forth. And I have no. I want to say that. Huh?
You say Puffy supported Trump?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah. He may be back. And see what's happening is people calling him out and they back and forth. But my thing is, man, I hear what you're saying, that he was willing to listen to anybody. The Democrats told him, we'll talk after the election. Why couldn't he just wait? What's the rush? Obviously, you can't see the forest for the trees. You can't see why Trump wants to hurry and get this done before the election, so he can be arm in arm, smiling with you on a photo op that may have stolen maybe a few black votes. I'm just saying, man. I'm very disappointed. But I got a lot more, but I don't want to take up all the time.
Well, before I go into my little blitz, man, I'm like you. I didn't know what I was going to speak on. I wanted to talk about the rappers, which I talked on my Zeke Freaky Tales podcast show, because 2 more rappers then got shot. Then I wanted to go in on the election, like you were saying, but this was bothering me, man, and I wanted to speak on this. But Ahmaud Arbery, and I don't know if y'all heard the situation with this guy named Zachary Lanford. If y'all don't know who Zachary Lanford is, he's a close friend to the McMichaels, and the McMichaels are the ones who killed Mr. Arbery. Well, they had him to come testify because Arbery's Arbery's attorneys had received text messages from one of the McMichaels, the son of the father McMichael, stating that he wanted to go hunting for some crackheads with gold teeth. Now, we can all say that he can be talking about anybody, but let's be real about the situation. He was talking about black people. Yeah. Well, when they received the text messages, and what really pissed me off when I got to see the audio and the video, when they asked this man about, was he talking about black people? And this guy said he was talking about raccoons. I never known any raccoon that smokes. If they do smoke, they're in the circus and it's for entertainment. And I never seen a raccoon with a gold tooth. So this man, after he made the statement, he chuckled, he laughed, he bent down, he looked at his attorney and laughed again. So my thing is, if these guys are found guilty, which I hope they will be, and he gave a false testimony, I think he should be charged and tried with the same crime that they committed.
And do you think he will?
No.
It's a sad reality, man. The fact that you was emphatic about it, the fact that you didn't hesitate, and the fact that we all know that is a good possibility, man. I don't know, man. I feel like there's a force behind all this that really wants some type of civil war. And I think right now they've already begun the psychological and the social civil war. The only thing left is the physical. And I don't like to be doomsday, but golly, man, this is ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Uh, Look, man. Hopefully Trump is locked up, y'all. When after January 20, I'm serious, man. I hope they get him.
It ain't. You know what? This the crazy thing about it, though, Legend. I think they will bring up the charges to say that they at least tried.
Yeah,
But he have some strong devils in his court
I
around a
agree.
double table
I agree.
that's going to say, look, the charge is going to come because they got to satisfy the people. And when
I
they say
agree.
satisfy the people, we know they ain't talking about them.
Yep.
They're talking about us. And he's
Yep.
going to pardon, he's going to resign like you said he did, like he said he was going to do, or he allegedly is going to do. And the vice president, devil number 2, is going to pardon him.
I agree with that. I agree with that whole theory. I really think that there's going to be some money under the table. Like you say, I don't see him. The fact that he's gotten away with everything up to this point, why would I set myself up to thinking that justice is going to be served after he leaves office?
And then I don't understand for the life of me, this guy went 10 years without paying taxes and was never charged.
And
Wesley Snipes went 2 years.
$1 million he owed.
How much? What?
Like $400 million.
Oh, yeah, it's ridiculous, dude.
But the people he owed the money to, which I understand that it's probably was some under the table stuff like the legend said, waived it off. So I'm pretty sure he negotiated some deals with them, or maybe some things that they was doing crooked, and they was probably going to get cited for or fined. And he probably said, guess what? I'm the president of the United States. I'm going to talk to these people and you ain't got to worry about it. And then another thing that pissed me off, you talk about the IRS, the people that works for you, because you the president of the United States. If I was the director of the IRS, that would have pissed me off because you belittling me, and I'm going to make sure charges get filed against your ass.
Look here, man. Trump is a mob boss, bro. And I believe he's giving offers that you can't refuse. I don't think everything is just about, I mean, I'm pretty sure he may giving them payments, but you going to take that payment and you going to do as I see fit. I just never seen so many people so scared of this dude. And I know the senators, they're scared about, he has a tight grip on the 70 million Republican voters. So they worrying about him turning against them. So they won't, I mean, I get that, but man, at some point you got to look at yourself in the mirror and do the right thing.
I don't understand how this, like I said, he went 10 years without paying taxes. Wesley Snipes went 2 years without paying taxes. Ja Rule went 1 year without paying taxes. And both of these guys had to get prison time.
No, you understand why it's just still unbelievable.
Do you think a lot of these people that's probably not going at him, and this is a whole nother subject, probably was in the Epstein situation?
Oh, see, you trying to go there. Hey, we keep itching there, King. Hey, man, 2021, we're gonna have to talk about that stuff, man. I'm ready too, man. I'm ready, man. I'm talking about the aliens and the lizards, the cosmos, the Illuminati. I believe in all that, man.
Believe in all of that, huh?
Yeah.
So you believe in the secret society?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I believe in the Goldbergs. I believe in the Rockefellers. I believe in the 15 richest families sitting right up underneath the Vatican, the Pope. The Pope is the one pulling all the strings.
Yeah. I mean, not truth be told, he probably is the most powerful man in the world.
Yep.
And he has more followers than anyone.
And they have more. They have more. Is it capital is the word? Is some financial term? Basically, they got more than everybody else.
Sure, they got more people.
Catholic Church.
Yeah. But anyway, like you said, that's a whole nother show.
Oh yeah. Let me know, King, and I'm ready.
That's a whole nother group of people we can piss off. But anyway, so with that being said, man, we're gonna take a little break, and we'll be back.
See y'all.
responsible, but back then I couldn't see.
All right, we back.
Be a grown man and
Live upper room. Like I said beforehand, we have a great show planned for you. I guess we kind of hit on that topic a little bit since we're going to be talking about not exactly the election, but one specific person who was involved in the election, Ms. Kamala Harris.
How you pronounce her name? Camille? Is it Camille?
Yeah.
Camilla.
Camilla. Nah, I'm just joking.
Kamala, right? Kamala.
Kamala.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah.
Camilla. Kamala.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey man,
No.
you know she got the K hive like Beyonce got the beehive. We better be careful.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Oh, do she really?
Oh yeah, because she called it the K hive, and they will be.
Yeah, she's AKA, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I guess we want to talk about before her rise to fame here. I guess her ascension up the ladder, right?
Yeah.
She was a prosecutor in San Francisco, correct? It was a district attorney, right? She was a district attorney. Okay. She was a district attorney. And I know it was some people had some issues with some of the harsher sentences that she passed out to African American men. And of course, I know that the opposition was going to bring that up to be like, look, hey, she's not really for y'all either.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the proposition, what was it, 2021, where they wanted, it was to let juveniles be tried as adults. And I think she supported that.
I mean, and you know who that targets.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, and don't get me wrong, no one's without fault. And another thing that was brought to my attention that I heard somewhere, read somewhere, that she didn't, and it kind of contradicts that she didn't identify as being Black. Well, and then she went to a historically Black college, and she did pledge the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. But I mean, then Tiger Woods was the same thing. He didn't identify as Black. So now my question to you guys is, how? I mean, give me your take on that.
Want me to go first?
Yeah, I go and take the baton, Freak.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I go and get him.
Go ahead.
Let me get some of this, man. She is how I view Kamala. I view her as a convenient political opportunist, which comes off as very inconsistent. I don't feel like she is the sellout that people make her out to be. I think that she, because of her inconsistencies, I think that she takes advantage of situations to help her stay in certain offices, man. And I got some stuff to back that up, to where she flip-flops. I mean, she flip-flops bad. And it's understandable from the Black community, where we got to have some skepticism here, man. Like, okay, what's your angle here? One of the things that she did that, to me, she supported the legalization of weed. That's a point for the Black community, but then, she turns right back around, and her office makes 1,900 marijuana convictions. And so that's that. It's like it's such a contradiction. You support legalizing the weed, but then you locking up people who got 1,900 cases, locking them up for weed. So is that inconsistency, man? That's a major concern, and I do feel like people can change. I don't want to hold her to her mindset of what she was doing 15, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. Well, I've changed. I ain't the same person I was a year ago. So I do want to give her that. But my God, I mean, you talking about some real stark inconsistencies here, man. Another thing, she did not seek the death penalty for a gang member that killed the police, and she caught hell for that. I mean, the entire police union, everybody was upset with her in California about that. So she'll do that, then seek the death penalty for the gang member for killing the police. And that's, wow, I can't believe that. But then...
That was murder. Well, go ahead.
But on the flip side, she did not support police officers wearing body cams and did not have the police get independently investigated. So it's just like, you
half a dozen, six and other. Right?
There you go, bro. And it's very confusing. You want to give your full support. You want to believe, but I mean, these are facts, bro. This ain't opinion. And it's hard to look at this like, okay, what you gonna do? When you get in office, which way you gonna go? I want to believe that, okay, is out there. See, before she ran for office, before Biden put on the ticket, this stuff wasn't coming up. I guess it was coming up in the primaries. It did come up, but even before she ran for president, people didn't really know about this. I guess people didn't care, but this is important information, man. And again, don't take this in which we have, and again, that's something else I'll just talk about later. But I mean, my God, I don't want to get. We're saying these things. I'm saying these things. Don't get me wrong. Nobody's perfect, and I think we, especially our community, we have a tendency to find some mistakes and be like, oh, see, the hell with that, man. She ain't getting my vote, man. So what you gonna do? You gonna go with the alternative? A person who messes up on the daily? It's like we get too deep for our own good, man. And it's like, oh man, she wants to earn this. So Trump has earned it? Because even if you don't vote for Trump and let's say you don't vote for Trump or you don't vote for Biden or Harris, that's still a vote for Trump because his voters ain't going nowhere. The burden is on the Democratic Party to be consistent, to hit them up. I'm just throwing Georgia in there, man. I mean, ain't nothing we can do, but my God, man, we gotta pump up Georgia, y'all. And if you people don't know what's going on in Georgia, King, if you don't mind,
they're a blue state,
this, man. Hey, man, that right there is the second biggest election or vote since this main election, because we have to get that Democratic senator in there so Harris can be the determining vote when it comes down to passing stuff. If we don't get that Senate seat, Mitch McConnell is the deciding vote, and you can just kiss everything goodbye. And then Biden will get judged just like Barack Obama.
Oh, yeah.
Doing nothing for the people. If
you
don't understand how Congress work, man.
Yeah.
Dude, this is not a dictatorship. You got to have the House and the Senate, man, supporting this stuff. But
I do.
Pause on it, bro.
Well, I have a lot of good and I have a lot of bad. But let me first say, I know she said she was Black, Indian, and Asian descent.
Yeah.
She's Jamaican. I don't care how she want to put it. She's Jamaican. Her mother's Indian. Her father's Jamaican. The male genes overrides everything. Her father's Jamaican. She's Jamaican. Now, if y'all want to say she's Black and all that, that's fine. She went to a historical Black school. That's fine. She's an AKA. That's fine and beautiful. Shout out to the AKA.
Jamaican's all Black.
Oh, well, she's Jamaican.
She Black.
Okay, well, she's Black. I just wanted to put that out there. Now, what you stated on Legend about the police off, that was in 2014 when she raised waves about not charging the officers for murder. And I don't necessarily say that was good or bad because I'm for my law enforcement. All of them not bad. Some of them are really, really, really bad. And we're getting to see that with today's technology, with these smartphones and stuff like that. Now, the good is she did start the Back on Track program back in 2005. That program consisted of allowing convicted felons without a major crime to be able to go back to school and get their diploma and have an opportunity of getting a job. So I think that was a good thing. And then she also changed the California 3-strike law. Even though they imposed these laws, and we have to understand, even when Biden back in the days, when we had the drug-free zone and all that, we was asking for that because of all the gang activity that was going on. We wanted the harsher crimes, even though some of the crimes didn't fit, some of the sentences didn't fit the crime. As the people, we asked for that. Now we look back on it because sometimes it may have affected a family member, a friend, or whatever the case may be. But she did try to change the California 3-strike law, requiring that her office in San Francisco charge only for third strikes if the felony was a serious violent crime. Because, you know, some people probably was just thieves. They get caught the third time, they damn near was getting life in the penitentiary. So, you know, she was trying to change that. And then sometimes if you got the third strike, the 3 strikes, it was 25 to life. But I'm just a thief and I'm getting 25 to life. So I don't think that sentence fit the crime.
Right.
She also started the truancy program, which she had, which I think is still kind of going today. What she was saying was, if a parent is allowing a kid not to go to school, you can be arrested. But it wasn't a lot of cases where the parents was getting arrested. And what she basically said was she was trying to threaten the parents to send their kids to school to make sure they go to school to get an education. And by her doing that, the graduation rate increased by 33%. So I think that was a good deal. And still, if a parent ain't having their kids to go to school, you should hold them accountable. That's just my opinion.
So these are all the good things you've highlighted.
These are good
things that she brings to the table.
Right. And then the bad, one of the things you said was like in 2003, the felony conviction in San Francisco from 52% to 67%, it rose to 67% to 2006, which was under her.
Yeah, when she became AG.
Yeah, when she became what is the district attorney, right?
Attorney General.
Attorney General.
That's right.
So I mean, that's kind of the bad. And then also Harris, she resisted a bill that would require her officers, like you already said, to wear body cams, which I thought was a bunch of bull crap. Because if an officer is in an officer-involved shooting, I think that video should be released to the public to see what actually happened.
It's just very, man, we've pretty much laid out several political views by Kamala. And again, I just want the viewers to know, in my heart of hearts, I'm so proud of what she accomplished. I'm all about Biden and Harris. I think Biden is exactly what the doctor ordered. We needed his calmness, his everything, man. I mean, but again, we have to hold people accountable. And again, I just want her to be consistent. This stuff here, man, it's still disturbing, even though it is in the past. You know, why the flip-flop? And again, politics is a dirty game, you know.
It is.
You know, there was a story out on her when she first started into not so much politics, but just getting her foot in the door. I want to say she was in her late 20s. She was dating this real popular politician named Willie Brown. And Willie Brown from California. And he kind of put on board, man. He kind of set up real good. I think she was on the appeal board of the Medical Assistance Commission, and man, she was getting paid like $80,000 on top of her prosecution salary. So she, you know, now again, this is the part where people are kind of looking at her sideways. And the dude was like 30 years older, so I think he was like in his 60s while she was in her late 20s or 30 years old. So
It was sugar daddy.
yeah, we're gonna have a little prayer. But anyway, I think they both got what they needed in that situation. But
Legend, I want to say this too. Even though she passed the laws about the police officers and the body cams and all of that, I forget which year it was, but she also launched the Open Justice Act, which allowed members of the public to be able to track reported killings by police officers. So I think, it was trial and error. You have to live, man. And I mean, we all make mistakes. And I don't know what she had to do to get in office or what she was trying to do or who she was trying to please. But some of these things she passed, I think she looked back at it and said, you know what? I messed up. Now let me see how I can fix it and change it.
I agree. And that's the benefit of the doubt that I want to give her, Freak. I want to give her that benefit of the doubt that, yeah, those are just mistakes, oversights. She just, but again, it just comes off as a little inconsistent. I'm just the type of person that I don't drink the Kool-Aid. I didn't vote for Obama in 2004. I'm not a staunch Democratic supporter. I'm an independent. And so I'm going to question it. I'm going to question it. But at the same time, in the situation that we're in, I'm not going to just not vote for her or Biden because, again, same thing with Biden in the 90s. Now, you kind of justified it, Freak, by saying, look here, man, we out there clowning. We were clowning in the 90s. I mean, Snoop and all them, the NWA didn't help that matter. Pop. They told us to do that. They told us to do it. I don't care, man. They weren't telling us not to do it. They told us to do it. So we went out there and did it. We went and drunk Tanqueray and we did it. And Thug Passion. But he put some people away, man, that really didn't deserve the sentences, and I think that's the knock. Maybe some people said it should have been handled with a scalpel. Some people said it needs to be done with a hatchet. You look at the Chicago situation. Does that need to be done with a hatchet or a scalpel? And it just depends. You go talk to those mothers that then lost two of her sons and they not even part of a gang, just straight bullets. You really think they want you to come in and just kind of gently talk to the people and mentor these kids, or you want the National Guard to come in and clean their ass out?
Well, I mean, and that's all great, and I agree with it. But the thing that I don't agree with when it comes to that type of thing is the sentencing process. Now, if you're gonna give 25 to life for murder, then it should be that way across the board.
Yeah.
If you want to give 15 years for a drug conviction, then it needs to be that way across the board. I don't want that, I go in and I get 15 years for a drug conviction, and then because Joey come in and his skin is a lot lighter than mine, he gets probation.
Right.
I think that's the problem that needs to be addressed, not the fact that we are sentencing people for crimes, because if you break the law, you get sentenced. That's just what it is. But it needs to be straight across the board, and that's not happening. You're seeing it everywhere, where one judge will sentence one person to a certain amount of time, and the other person just gets off scot-free. Hell, I mean, they caught a guy raping a woman one time. Caught him. It gave him 6 months. The other dude that did it, he didn't do any time. I mean, so listen, I'm a Steelers fan through and through, and I know one of the things that people always tease me about is that Ben Roethlisberger supposedly raped someone, and whether it would, they were paid off or whatever. But at the same time, if he would have been convicted, you wouldn't hear nothing from me, because right is right, wrong is wrong. Because had that been, let's say, Deshaun Watson, he wouldn't have had half the support.
Right.
He probably wouldn't have had the strings pulled.
Right.
We have to be, just 10 times better, man, and watch what we do 100 times more.
All the time. King, when we come back, man, I don't want to forget. I want to talk about defunding the police. Just wanted to make sure we talk about that in the midst of anything else.
Okay. That sounds good. Well, as we'll take 5, and then we'll be back.
See you in a few.
Because we living in the
All right, we back.
Hey, King. We had a texter, man. I wanted to bring this up real quick. He brought up a good point. Our homeboy Dudley Blewett from California, man. He texted in. He said, "Man, Kamala Harris, mom claims to be, I guess she claims to be white on her birth certificate. So how do you think her mentality is going to be?"
Whoa.
Do who? Whose birth certificate?
Kamala Harris' mom. I think
Miss Shamala Goplin Harris. That's her name.
Yeah, she claims to be white, and I hope I'm reading the text message accurately. And Dudley, if I've misread you, man, just hit me back. But
well, it don't matter what she claims, legend. She's from British India, so she's Indian. So maybe she did that for, I don't know, reasons to be able to get better jobs, to get in school.
True.
Because she was an educator too.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe by her doing that and maybe presenting herself as being white, it probably made things a lot easier for her.
But it could, with that mindset, it can create the inconsistencies that we saw throughout her career as the attorney general. And again, I mean, we're just you know, I don't know. We're just trying to make sense of the situation. But go ahead, King. My bad, man. I just wanted to get that before I forgot.
Well, I mean, hey, I mean that was one of the things that we brought up was what she identified as, right? Now, let's not take away from the history that this election has brought. I mean, not only do we have our first female vice president, big shout out, for the women, but our first vice president of color. So whether or not who says what, we see her as being black American, and I mean, dude, that's huge for black women.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way around it. It's huge. Whether we, look at her issues that she's had, or the flip-flopping that she's done, or whatever, that is huge. Once it's done, then it can be done.
I agree.
It's going to be interesting though, y'all, how she conducts herself in the White House, because you got to understand she's trying out right now for the next presidency. I mean, the rumor has it, the theory is that Biden is going to go ahead and resign. I mean, the man going to be in his 80s, and this is all set up for Kamala. Another concern that I have is that she cannot alienate the far left, the progressives. She can't alienate them. At the same time, she can't go public and support their views public because Joe Biden is an extreme moderate. So she's going to be walking this tightrope for the next 4 years, not losing, trying to hold on to her base of voters, trying to hold on to the moderates, because the moderates and the progressives, that's almost like black and white. That's two extremes, man, within the same party. She's going to have a lot of pressure on her, man. A lot of pressure. It doesn't help that she's already behind the 8 ball with the inconsistencies from her past. So I don't envy her situation at all. And again, we're just bringing up facts. I want to keep saying, man, I'm with y'all. I'm very proud as a black man to see that this has happened. But please, man, this has just begun. And she really, really has an enormous pressure from all sides to come through on this. I mean, she's literally going to be walking on eggshells.
I don't necessarily think she'll be walking on eggshells, and I don't necessarily think she has a lot of pressure on her. I think Biden has the pressure, so whatever decisions he make, whether we feel they right or wrong, she got to be the back end to be able to push him to say, "Now, I think," they got to have them conversations like, "Now, I think it's wrong. I'm gonna go out and speak out and be like, yeah, I support him, but this is what I think the improvements that we can do off of his decision." Same thing like with Obama and his wife. You know, Obama was the president, but I guarantee you he was going through his wife with a lot of decision-making ideas.
Yeah.
Bae, I don't think you should do that. Or I think you should do that. And then stood by him in every decision he made, like she was the vice president.
And I hear what you're saying, Freak. The problem, though, that I feel like is going to start developing is that the Democratic Party is already kind of fracturing right now, man, because you got those that steady preaching the socialism, and then you got the moderates like, man, y'all shut the hell up, man. We're not trying to be socialistic. We don't even want that reputation. We don't want to be tagged with that. And so right now there's a fight. And again, it's not really gaining no traction. It's not getting much play because Trump just swallows up everything on the media. But maybe we got to pay attention to that. And also, too, I really believe, again, she's got to play both sides here. She has a base of progressive voters, bro. And to me, she's a progressive candidate. Even though she's passed some laws or she supported some things that is moderate, I think the majority of her stuff is progressive. It is far left. And so you have the president who is straight moderate, right, almost down the middle, which pulled some of them Republican voters, which he needed to do. My thing is, how is she going to play that for the next 4 years? Because I believe he's out the door, man. And when it's time for her to go through do her campaign, these people are going to bring it up to her. Hold on. You were supporting this stuff that Biden was talking about. You lied to us. You said that you was going to do X, Y, and Z. And it puts her in a bad situation because what do? She definitely can't go against Joe Biden, the president. She has to fall in line with that. And that's my whole thing. How does she walk that tightrope?
I think both of them did have a sit down, and she probably said, I don't know, they brought 20 things to the table, and she was probably like, hey, Joe, 10 of these things we got to do. 10 of these other things, you may not agree with them or agree with them, and we cannot do, but we got to get these 10 things done. And then another thing, not to call out a name, I think she have to be that female dog in the office to show people that, yeah, y'all never thought it'd be a woman vice president or whatever the case may be, but I'm not soft. All these innuendos that y'all say when a woman on her cycle, they don't know how to think, we emotional and all of that. Now, I can get downright and dirty as well.
Oh, I think she's going to be strong also. I agree with that, though. I think she's very strong. I think just the way she handled herself against Brett Kavanaugh. Y'all remember that Brett Kavanaugh Supreme Justice hearing? Oh, man, she grilled him, bro. She grilled him. And there was another one, too, Jeff Sessions. To me, that's what actually put her on the map. She was using them prosecution skills, man. And, yeah, just the way she handled Mike Pence in the when they was doing the whatchamacallit, man, the
debate.
Yeah, man. I mean, so, yeah, she can handle herself, no doubt. No doubt. I'm just again, I just be thinking of things outside of the box, man. Like, man, this could happen. And like you say, hell, they can just be talking about that and planning that. Because if I'm thinking about it, yeah, I'm pretty sure they already thought about that and have a plan going in. Look, this is what we got to say. This is the united front that we got to show. We can't be divisive on anything. At the same time, y'all, we got to look at 2024, and Biden has to be a part of that. he has to look at it like, okay, yeah, I'm a moderate candidate, I'm a moderate president, but if we want to keep this thing in Democratic hands, I can't be too moderate. I got to balance this thing out because we cannot alienate our far left progressive voters. So I can't leave Kamala on an island by herself. So it has to be, both of them really got to come together and work this thing out just to keep the Democratic Party together and on point.
Let me ask you this, Legend.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say Kamala came with 10 ideas and President Joe says, yeah, we can do these. We ain't gonna even worry about what I said. I think we need to push this for the people. And they get on, they do their little presidential speech or whatever the case may be and say, yeah, we're gonna move to do this and do that. Do the Democrats run the House or still Republicans?
I think the Democrats got the House and the Republicans got the Senate, huh, King? Yeah.
Yeah, the House.
Okay, so no, but my point to that being, realistically, it don't matter what they say, it's about what they pass, right? Because they can overrule it.
Yeah, you talking about the
House and Senate.
House and Senate. Right. I mean,
so even if us three was the president and we say we're gonna pass that you can drink anywhere in the United States, Monday through Sunday. We saying this is what we're going to pass or what we're going to put into the Constitution or into law. But if we send it to the House and the Senate, they say no, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, but you can do a political move though, which Donald Trump does all the time. He says stuff all the time, knowing that they ain't gonna pass it. He just want to get credit from his base to be like, see, he
tried.
Yeah, that's them other people, man. They not on board. I mean, you know that stuff ain't gonna pass. But again, man. But I told King before we went to break, man. I wanted to talk about the defunding the police. To me, this is another issue that's actually splintering the Democratic base, man. Obviously, Black Lives Matter. They're supporting the defunding the police. And I'm just so against this, man. I'm so against this, dude. We got to watch what we ask for.
Is defunding the police?
Yeah, man. I just, and if people really don't understand what that means, it's basically saying they're going to reallocate the funds to go to like, social services and, counselors and, and all that stuff is good, man. All these different programs to help people. Fine.
But what they not understanding, if you dial 911, it may not be nobody responding.
Or if I dial 911, I don't want the counselor to come down and come to deal with this situation, man. Because that's who's going to be out there coming out there dealing. I mean, because you're going to have policemen start to retire and resign. Like, man, the hell with this. The hell with this, man. I'm every day. Look here. None of us go to work worrying about, we know things can happen on the highway, but we really don't worry about us dying. A policeman, hey, man, when they say I love you till they wipe, they don't know if they coming back, bro. That's real. And people say, oh, it's their job. And whatever, man. That's a life or death job. Literally 8 to 12 hours a day. They have every time they do a traffic stop, they have no idea, is this going to be it? And so that amount of pressure, man, and then you coming about, taking money from this place and that place and hurt me financially, but the hell with that. It ain't like they getting paid six figures. It's going to give me another $60,000 a year job, Like, we got to watch what we ask for, man. We need security. I need it. I'm sorry. And I'm not going to let the few bad apples just take away hurt the security situation in this country to whereas, we start losing policemen and now we got crime on up and, man, whatever, man. Look, black people, we can get robbed and it can happen to us too.
And you know what? It's crazy to say that legend with defunding the police. I remember when we was in school, we had police escorts to games, right?
Yeah.
Some games.
Well, now that's not even happening because they don't have enough.
They have no money.
Exactly.
They have no money, man. And that's a good example.
It depends on who we played.
True that.
Huh?
Yeah.
Depending on who we played.
Yeah.
And where we went, like we didn't have it like when we went to like Texas City or something like that. But
like Lamarck, that would be.
Those rival games. But the point is, we had the money to do that.
Well, when you look at defunding the police, do we need the police? Yes. Are there some drastic changes that need to be made? Definitely. I think that punishment for those quote unquote bad apples. See, this is my problem with it, because as a police officer, when you look at it, and I can't really think of what was the one that killed the guy and they fired him. They actually fired him, but he went 2 counties over and got another job. So see, my thing is, when you are dismissed, it should be almost like a lawyer being disbarred.
Right. That's
exactly.
right.
When you're dismissed for certain things, you should not be able to work in law enforcement again. I'm sorry.
Right.
Now I'm not saying that if you get fired for being late all the time, or going against something that the captain or your sergeant or something said, nothing like that. But when you're doing stuff like when you're using your badge as a highway as a form of committing hate crimes or unjustified shootings, when stuff like that, I just think that should be, once you're dismissed from that police department, you should not be able to find a job in law enforcement, period. Now, that's just I agree. So I think that right there takes away even the need to defund the police, because now what you're doing is you're attacking, you're cutting off the part that's rotten.
Mm-hmm.
There's no need to cut down the whole tree. Let's just cut down that rotten limb.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Again, so, I just don't understand the extreme measures that these groups are taking, man. And to me, it almost seems like you want anarchy, you want lawlessness. I mean, and so again, I get on my conspiracy theory box and I start thinking like that. I'm like, man, okay, yeah, you trying to take away from the police. What does that solve? But I want to bring this point up, man. Something else I want to talk about in the earlier segment, though, and it was about Kamala. It was about Kamala, and if Kamala was white, and the point I'm trying to make here is that I feel like the Black community, we are so, to me, I think we go overboard when it comes to judging our own. If she was white, and she did the same thing, just as inconsistent as Kamala, and all what she supported, would we have a problem with her? Would we even be talking about what we talked about in this show? If she was white, a problem with her. Would you? If she, I mean, all the stuff that Otis talked about that he supported, because see, I feel like, King, the fact that she's white, there's no pressure from the Black community because we expect you to kind of
screw us over anyway.
View. Exactly. The fact that you're Black, I'm expecting you to be over here.
I think that she's under more scrutiny because she's a first. So I think that even if it was a white one, it might not have been to the same extent. I think a lot of the things still would have been brought up just because she's a first.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But if you go back and look at it, when Obama was in, he was the first. Look how much scrutiny he got. Look what everything they were saying about.
But I'm talking about specifically from the Black community.
Black and white. That's
I'm talking about how we do our own. I'm just saying, if she was white, would we be even having
But what you have to realize, though, Legend, is where the information comes from. Because, see, a lot of times Yeah, people in the county or whatever it is where San Francisco is, they knew about the things that she did. Like you said, up until when the primaries come, we knew nothing about it.
Right.
Because it didn't affect us here. So now you have to look at where your information comes. That stuff starts getting leaked as a way to quote unquote sabotage her. Right?
Right.
So now are those things going to be leaked? If she was Caucasian?
I think they would have, because they were trying to leak stuff on Hillary. Well, they ain't tried, they did.
But it wouldn't affect. I do believe it'll be leaked. I just don't feel like we would take it as personal if she was white. Because obviously Kamala has done a lot of great things for the Black community and the things that she's passed and this and that. It ain't been all bad. I'm just saying, I just feel like we're just very, very extremely judgmental. But that's just an opinion.
Again, though, Zeke, what you got to understand when you talking about her and Hillary, apples and oranges, you talking about the president versus the vice president.
Yeah.
So that's those two totally different offices. And so you hear stuff about Joe Biden. I'm finding stuff out about Joe Biden now that I had no idea about when he was vice president.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now you stepped it up a notch. You know, it's gonna be a little bit more digging. We're gonna bring a little bit
they're gonna bring out all the skeletons.
Yeah. You know, so that's, you know, and hell, I mean, for me, she run for president. Well, they might have used up everything now. Just because she was, you know, she is Black, but the whole defunding the police is, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a huge fan of the police, and I think that their times and efforts could be well spent, you know, better, you know, actually doing instead, because let's be honest, I mean, it's a lot of profiling going on. I watch it all the time. Every time I see one, I sit and I watch them. You know, case in point, I saw them pull this Hispanic kid over the other day. And they were at the light. I was at the gas station. They pulled him over because of loud music, right? He had a car that, you know, looked like him, but it wasn't even him. It was a white kid in a truck that was playing the loud music. That's what he pulled him over for.
Well, that's similar. That brings back memories.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he just assumed who it was. He didn't know. You see what I'm saying?
Right, like no other race is going to play loud music. But
you can't do that, man. And so see, that's one of the issues, along with the other things that I said that I have an issue with. But you know, if you didn't have it, it would be like the Wild Wild West. Because then now, if you're doing that, how can you even enforce any kind of laws, even as far as killing? You can't enforce that, because who's there to enforce it?
Yep.
So that means every time you get into it with somebody, you know, hey, you got to get them before they can get you.
We better watch what we ask for, man. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I doubt, you know, that.
No, I don't. I just don't like the movement. I don't like Black Lives Matter pushing this agenda. It's just, it doesn't make any sense on how does that help us. Again, I like the idea of putting money into programs to help the police deal with, you know, racial profiling and all that stuff, but don't pull it from the police. It got to come from another account.
I think the issue with that is you got to look who's saying defund the police. If it's a killing that happened in that city or that town, that's the first thing that they screaming.
True.
You know, instead of, okay, let's charge this officer. I'm the chief of police. This is what I'm gonna do for the people of this city. yeah, I'm gonna be hard on my officers. I'm gonna hold them more accountable than I've been doing. First off, the chief got to take that blame. Because I'm pretty sure you got a lot of complaints about this officer that killed somebody because he probably was harassing people before. Probably had complaints on him before. And a lot of times you hear in a lot of these situations, they go complain on the officer, but it's nothing never being done. Yeah. So my deal is, and I know some of them are in cahoots, don't even go to the police station, go to internal affairs, go above them. Now, if they start pushing you away and saying, hey, we got a ladder of command, you got to go to the police, then you got to go to the chief, then you come to us. Hell no. If you ain't going to listen to me because you ain't working with these people, you work for these people. Yeah. Then we can start saying, let's defund. But the thing is, you have to understand a lot of these people are upset, so that'd be the first thing they say. But you're not thinking about it. Okay, we already got a high crime value in our city. If you get rid of the police, now these drug dealers that you're trying to get rid of, or the gangbangers you're trying to get rid of, they're going to run your city, and you're going to have to go to them to see if you can go to the grocery store. Or is it okay if my son walk down your block, or my daughter?
Right.
Well, the thing about when you look at killings, and people asking for the police to be defunded, and I think that stems from the lack of convictions behind this. You just look at the girl that was killed, Breonna Taylor, the young lady. I ain't gonna call her girl, but let's just look at it. I mean, so you don't get a conviction. Well, they bring up charges on one of the cops who fired a bullet into somebody else's house.
But you know what, King? Now let's look at this situation. Now this guy been arrested, or no, had charges filed on him because allegedly he was having sex. He was working at a bar and he was raping, fondling, touching females. And allegedly these females was going to the police department. The same thing I just said, was filing reports on them, but nothing was never done. So this dude had a history of doing stuff out of the norm, messing with people filing on him, and you ain't do nothing to him. Now he kills somebody, he shoot at somebody and kill him.
Well, listen, and I've been saying this for some time. To be accused of something is one thing, but to have drop dead evidence of you doing something is a whole nother. When you having these killings on being videotaped and this and or botch raids or whatever. Listen, they locked up the black police officer in Houston. Who? Quickness.
With the quickness.
Yeah, they locked up the Somali police officer who shot the white woman in the alley. Remember that a couple years back?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't this long, drawn out process. But when a family got their money, you knew that was over with. The same thing with was that Hempstead with Sandra Bland? Was that what it was? No, it was over there by PV somewhere.
Yeah.
So when they give you that money, that's just,
we don't need to talk about it no more.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost hush money. So I mean, so this is my thing, and I know that when you start looking at like the presidency and the vice presidents, that's federal level, is not state to state, but that's something that we need to hold them accountable for. And as a female woman of color, I just think that's something that she needs to help. And I know her hands are tied or whatnot, but make it known.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Enough is enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, let's get some ideas in here. Let's do something that because usually, like I say, defunding the program isn't That's not the way to go.
Right.
But we have to have harsher penalties for when they're doing this, because if you do it and you can get off, I mean,
like you say, just go get a job in another county, man.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all this: when we have like shootings like this, and when Barack was in office, you know, he would get up and say, you know, the kid Trayvon Martin, he looks like me. It could have been my kid or whatever the case may be. And when you hear that nobody's been charged, it's under investigation, should the presidents or the presidency, should they step in and speak on it and be like, hey, something needs to be done in that city or in that town or in that state, or I'm gonna send the FBI in?
They can't enforce that though.
They can't enforce it though, but again, you the president of all the people, and your voice carries a lot of weight as a president. And you know, I don't think you should hide behind your political party. I think saying it, and I like you say, that's state responsibility. But you know, man, I think that's part of the problem right now. We so partisan politics right now is just ridiculous. I mean, that's an understatement. But
okay, now another question I have: with the laws that Biden agreed on back in the day, which was harsh crime, harsher penalties, and some of the things Kamala agreed on, wouldn't you think this would be a perfect time to say, hey, we know we made a mistake. Now, if we hear of these shootings, not saying they're coming out now, but like, let's say they're in office and they hear of these shootings, that they should be like two of the first to step up and say, oh, no, y'all need to look into that.
Well, yeah, I think because, you know, people have voiced their opinion, especially the far left, you know, that's a significant base for Kamala Harris. She has no choice, whether she believe it or not, to say something. I'm serious, man. And it just goes back to that tight wire rope act that she's going to have to perform, whether she believe it or not. Yeah, she's going to have to say something. To hold on to her base. But yeah, man, I don't know. We're going all the way through because it's something I want to bring up. I don't know if I want to start another subtopic, King, or we got time, or where we at? We good?
Yeah, I guess we can go ahead and try to squeeze it in.
No, I mean it's no big deal. We can come back with it, man. Because I was looking at the time, so I just want to talk about how increasingly the male black voters are they voted for Trump, and I want to dig in, man. I want to see what's going on, yo.
You have research on that, Legend?
Yeah,
you got the percentages
it
and all that.
It went up.
Go ahead.
Let's 14.
Go with it, and
you're about to really make us mad now.
Yeah, well, in 2016, they got 14% of the black male vote. Trump did. It went up to 17. That's a problem, man. And you know, this ain't got nothing to do with Ice Cube and all them. You know, I don't think Ice Cube influenced that significant increase. Him or 50 Cent or whatever little rapper, Lil Wayne. There's something to be said, man. Something is going on with the black males on why they trust this man. Because it can't be his policies. It can't be his policy. What is it as a black man? Why would you support this guy? You know.
So you're saying they voted for him?
They voted for him, but not only did they vote for him, it increased.
Yeah.
So just like we talked about in the beginning, Freak, on how 70% of America, 70% of the voters have 4 years to watch this dude act a fool, and they went to the polls and be like, you know what, that's my type of guy. Well, we can talk about them all day long, but 17% of our own, not just the males, voted for him. It was a 3% increase from 2016. Something ain't right, man.
Well, my thing is, I wouldn't dare vote for a dude like that because he's an idiot. But only thing I can think of, man, when he be having like his little news conference, I sit up and watch for laughter. Like listening to the stuff he say, I be in here rolling. So only thing I can think of is he's a guy that say what he wants, ain't gonna be charged for what he say. He don't give a damn. He belittles women. The women that follow him, I can't how he tell like he like groping them in locker room talk with his fellas. And if I had that young lady and this and that, I think from the things he say, they like him because he's the I don't give a damn president.
Well,
but
you talking about us? That's why we like.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can see.
Well, I think you also too you have to look at the financial aspects of a legend. You know that some, and I know it's not a three where it would be a 3% increase. 3% increase. You know, tax breaks. You know, a lot of it comes down to the color, the green, the color, you know, money, and but I've seen, you know, the shirts and the hats, black men for Trump, and you know this, dude, man. Listen, man, let me tell you, his following is almost cult-like.
Yeah,
that dude. I went to. You know, I went to the game last week, you know, watched my Steelers kick the Cowboys. But, you know, you be surprised at how many Trump country billboards, not signs, billboards I came across passing through. And it was just,
oh, yeah, man. Talking about going through those rural towns in Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah. I mean, it was just like, mind-boggling. I was just like, man, they really. I mean, this.
Well, I tell you what. Let me speak for this region. I can probably have a little insight on why I feel like black men from this region, and it goes back to what you said. Though you said something about financially, not so much that black men are making six figures and $300,000-$400,000 a year, but the oil industry down here is major.
Mm-hmm.
That is directly linked to the Republican Party. And I know some people, I know some guys I've coached. I know some people that I know. I'm cool with, and they've made that their main reason. Like, look, I can't stand that dude. He's an idiot. But I got mouths to feed.
That's true. Legend is crazy because
it comes down to that, man. It comes down to my job. Yeah, I feel you on that. I don't like the dude. He is a racist, but I've been working at this plant for 15, 20 years, man. I got a kid in college, man. What you want me to do?
Legend, I've heard that too.
So it's, the money part, again, when I think about the money part, I always think about, well, golly, you got to be rich in order for you to make sense to support Trump. And say, no, not necessarily, especially down here in the South, in these Gulf states. Well, the refinery is that's one of your biggest employers down here.
And then, to go off of what King said, that's another thing, man. When you see his following, that just amazes me, man, to see the people following. I'm coming home one day and Buc-ee's, one of my favorite gas stations,
man, dude,
they one of his biggest supporters. They let them do their gatherings there.
That's the Trump roundup right there before they come
in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So, and my thing is with that, so now I start going back to Raceway. And I used to love Buc-ee's.
That's dirty gas, though, dog. You want to sell out? Freak, you want to sell out and go back to Buc-ee's, man. Just like these guys
I gotta sell out and go back to Buc-ee's.
Just like they sell out and vote for Trump because they gotta put food on the table. You gotta sell out and go back to Buc-ee's. Hey, man, Raceway gas is junk gas, dude.
Man, you know what? I'm not gonna sit on air and say I'm going back to Buc-ee's Legend, but I'm gonna have to think about it.
You're not a sellout. You're a survivor.
These people really support him, and that's one of another things that I always say. I say, you know what? I can't stand this man, but they back him. I didn't see no Democratic parties and get-togethers.
No.
Riding down the highway, shutting down the highway like they do.
They together, bro. They all one accord, man. They on the same page. You don't never hear about them splintering, nothing. We
So
divide,
and then
bro.
okay, so my deal is like you say, you go through these little towns and you see these billboards that's ran by some companies. Do you start boycotting them? Oh, you like Trump? I'm not buying from you all anymore. Like you saying, I gotta go back to Bucky's now.
You should. I mean, there's several of them that I won't. I haven't went to since he, and I still won't.
I think in order for us to make an effect, I think that's a personal battle, but I don't think enough of us are doing it to make an impact. And so it's almost like spitting in the wind. It's like, all right, yeah, the king, he fighting the power, but who else is fighting with him?
And it's crazy that you say that. What was the deal when we was boycotted? We was gonna go to black owned companies. You don't hear that no more.
Oh yeah, yes you do.
Black restaurants.
Yeah, man, that's still in full effect, buddy.
But I'm saying, King, that's in effect. Who else saying it? Where you seeing it at?
I mean, as big of a internet connoisseur that you are, you travel Facebook, it's all over there, man. I very rarely get on here. I get on, I do a little trolling after the Cowboys lose. Okay, yeah, I do that. And then, I post stuff like when we're putting a show, but I see it all the time, dude.
But the problem, we're still having people complaining about these, the black businesses, especially the restaurants. All the prices are too high. The customer service is bad, and the food takes too long to come out. And
it's just fresh, whatever.
Yeah, again, you'll go you'll go to Benihana's or somewhere, or, Houston.
Steak 48.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like,
man,
we got to crawl before we.
That's
walk.
me in the King spot.
You can go there and pay $500. But it's just crazy, dude. Listen, when you go and you look at and people complain about black-owned businesses. Oh man, I had to spend, what was it, $11.99 for some chicken wing plate. But you go to Wingstop, they're high. And you go to Popeyes, so you think about how, I mean, it's inflation. It's what it's called.
Yeah.
Some prices are going right. That's what it is. But anyway, hey, let's take a break, then we'll come back.
Okay.
And thank some people and wrap this thing up.
For sure.
All right. Sound good?
Oh yeah.
All right, we back, man. Upper room, we talked about our not only our subject with our vice president elect, Ms. Harris, but I think that this is going to run into a couple of other shows, man, because there's definitely some other things that we're probably going to need to talk about and discuss. But before we get ready to wrap this thing up, Zeke, we got some people we want to thank.
Yeah, man. First off, I want everybody to know that this show has been brought to you by the Upper Room, Facebook Live, Stationhead Radio. We're on Stationhead. We have our own radio show, Instagram Live, and Be Live TV. But with that being said, I want to give some special thanks to AB Science Shop, Artifacts Films, Bench Bullying, Busy Bee Cabs, Diversity Realty Company, Element 7 Salon, Era Vintage, Portrait Photography, Jacquez Chicken and Waffles, Kitty Campus Daycare LC, and the 37th Street Jazz Band. That's the legend himself and his father and they band. Maduro Cigar Lounge, Meek and Zeke Show, that's on YouTube. Meek Smells That Sells. That's a Cincy company. She's on Facebook as well. Pat Wild Wings, Pack Tech, Picture Perfect Photography, Tommy Napoli, Personal Chef. He's on Facebook. He's also on Instagram. Tours Alumni Association and Unveiled Aspirations.
Hey, Freak, did you turn up your volume to like 500? Man, that was...
I was yelling.
No, you weren't yelling. We could just hear everything. It's really loud. I mean, I was just... like, wow, man, you have a powerful system over there.
Hey, man. Let's go ahead and wrap it up.
This guy.
Who want to go first?
Yeah, let me go and give my final thoughts. I don't have much, man, but basically, man, no matter who's in office, it's kind of like the same sermon we've been preaching, man. We just got to hold them accountable. Keep chipping away. Don't just get excited because the election is over with. We got our people, we got our man and our woman in there, and then we let off the gas. Again, Georgia has a lot of work to do. And we need to continue to send our support over there and encouragement and just pumping them up, man, and really get that base just, man, buzzing for, I don't know the exact date. I know it's in January for that Senate run. Okay, so that vote right there, that's going to be big. That affects everything. Everything. And again, let me just take 10 seconds to make sure people understand. If we don't get that Senate seat, then Mitch McConnell is the deciding vote when things need to be passed coming from Joe Biden and Harris. It's not about Biden getting up there and just saying, I want X, Y, and Z. So please, we got to understand the system. But anyway, I do believe we need to give her a chance. Let's not judge her for her past. Again, like I said, I'm not the same person I was a year ago. So people do change, and we need to give her the benefit of the doubt and give her a chance. And no matter your feelings towards Biden or Harris, whether you agree with some policies or not, the alternative is worse. And I'm going to end with that. And that's Trump.
I'm going to piggyback off what the legend said. We have the two in office that a lot of us voted for, and we have to deal with it. But it's our job. We don't always have to necessarily agree with everything that they trying to push or approve, or disagree with some of the things that they trying to push or approve. They're going to try to do their best to help this company. And you have to understand that they going in with issues and political issues that was already bad from the beginning. I don't care how much this guy said he helped improve the economy, help improve the state or the government and stuff like that. Hey, you got to do your research the same way we do our research and try to find out things that's going on. But like the legend has said, we can say what we want our presidents and vice presidents to do, but it do start locally with your governors, your senators, for these people that's in the House, that's in the legislature system. And if we don't hold them accountable by telling them, if you can't listen to us as the people, because you can get to the president when we can't, or the vice president when we can't, when you come up for election again, we're not going to forget about you. We're not voting for you as well.
Do that. Yep.
Okay. Well, again, we have to understand that these people are politicians, and a lot of what they say they know won't ever come to light. But we still have to make accountability an issue. They have to be accountable. I mean, there's just no ifs, ands, but so now your first 4 years is a tryout, because if now you can't do what you said that you're gonna do, then we have to move on. But again, like you said, we have to give them the stage to do that. In order to give them the stage to do that, we have to make it democratic, because we know that if it's majority Republican in the House, Senate, that it is not going to pass, and that's why I have such an issue when people talk bad about Obama, and because it's the same people who wouldn't go out and vote.
Right. Right.
They don't understand that it's like you said, it's not a dictatorship. It's not that you just get in and then, because if it's a dictatorship, nobody would never leave office.
That's right.
So we just have to, sit here. We need to take notes, make sure what's being done, what's not being done, what issues are being tackled, and not only this, but even more importantly and more so is on your local on the local level. Your local governments, and these are where we really get the changes that affect us
directly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
These are where these changes come, because these are the people who are appointing your police chiefs and all of these other people. And so I mean, we just have to do a better job. We can't sit and expect for someone to step out and help us when we are not doing all that we can do to help ourselves.
Yep.
Now I say it all the time. I tell my children, people are more inclined and more likely to help you if they see you trying. If you're not going to try, why? You don't care. Why should I care? If I come by your house and all four of your tires are on flat and you're not worried about it, you think I'm gonna worry about it? No, there's no need for me to worry about it. It's not affecting me directly. It's affecting you directly. So, like I said, with that being said, man, that is our show for this evening. This would be back right?
You already said that. Now you're being redundant.
Yeah. So with that being said, that's the show for this week, man. We pray and hope that you'll continue to support us and tune in. God bless.